So Oliver, let's talk about interactivity and some of the challenges around that. I mean, Darcy, you mentioned it briefly, Oliver, and Darcy sort of took it and expanded on it with things like gaming, wagering, etc. What are some of the challenges that interactivity throws into the mix that your company has seen, and how do you go towards solutions models for that?
So in these interactive use cases, you want to have a stable signal in any case. So as Darcy was mentioning, even if video drops, you still want to have audio, but even audio can be very low resolution, very low bitrate to just keep up the monetized video stream to be able to bet or bid on these events. And that's a bit different to broadcast environments where you want to have the highest possible quality on a 4K screen or something. It's a bit different. You usually have access on a mobile phone, even with applications like LinkedIn or any kind of other applications. You want to just tune in, watch the live stream, be able to interact, somehow ask questions, maybe be part of a polling, betting, bidding, whatever thing. And that means that you need to keep in sync the interactive stream and the video stream. So the interactive content and the video stream needs both be very low latency, ultra low latency, around 1 second. When you have an eye on that, you even notice that in chat applications, you might have a latency of about 1 second when you just type a text, but that's the limit we are talking about. So and to keep that on any device, on any network, even on hostile networks, you need to adjust for the right technology. So there are technologies like WebRTC, but they are a bit difficult to adjust on these different network situations. That's why there's adaptive bitrate, which is established technology for broadcast, but which also works for ultra low latency live streaming, at least in our case, really turn the quality as down as possible, but keep a live stream running with the lowest latency possible. And then if the network is going back up again, then you might tune up again to a higher resolution. So that's key, that no matter what happens, if you're commuting, if you're on a bad network, you need to have a constant live stream, otherwise you would lose the connection and probably also the monetization of this this distributed live stream.
That's 100% correct. You want to provide variability in your encoding ladder so that if you have someone who's starts high and drops to low versus coming back up. So Darcy, from an interactivity standpoint, I mean, you touched briefly on a few of these things, but when you're talking about interactivity in the spatial web or the metaverse, you're also having to tie it to things like avatars or worlds that don't exist. What extra challenges do you end up with in that as you've approached it?
Yeah, it's coming down back almost to client server stuff. So what exists on your local compute versus in the cloud? How does the network understand those elements that come together in this single experience? And then you have conversations like we're having now. The one I'm finding that's most challenging just right now, so everybody knows, is how to talk to a language model and have it talk back to me like we're having a real conversation. And you see these agents and avatars now being pretty real time and pretty human. But if you can't have a conversation, it immediately breaks down that experience. And now you're going, okay, it's just a bad experience with an avatar. So you now have to actually have the avatar thinking that it's feeding back in that language model sitting in the network somewhere, and it's got to have a conversation in real time like we're having right now. So that is definitely the most challenging. And last week, they just introduced a new thing called Sora, which is going to now create on the fly scenes, literally video development as you go. So you walk through these metaverses and it's unfolding in front of you based on what you want to see. And you're having a conversation at the same time. You think about all those elements. Those are new elements now that nobody ever thought of. The scenes in the background, you could encode and figure out what a field looked like compared to a player, and what a ball looked like compared to all that was elements he's understand. Now it's actually unfolding in real time. How does anything understand what it's looking at in terms of the scene or the frame? So there's going to be a lot of new challenges for sure in this world. And the gaming has set us up pretty much for success. The Fortnites, the Minecrafts, the Roblox of the world, they have to figure this stuff out because they're doing this stuff at scale. And I don't see them throwing in a self generating experience, that they still have to worry about keeping the backgrounds pretty solid. And you know, we have millions of people in servers. How do you get across those servers? And there's so much in the metaverse that's about problems we've solved in other industries that is at scale that we've never even thought about before. You never thought there's going to be 10,000 people in a server all experience a concert or at a, you know, virtual event. And that's happening now all the time. And they're talking to each other, and they're talking to bots, and they're talking to avatars. So it's just it's a big, it's a fun challenge. I mean, I retired for a reason. I came over here to do something fun again. And this is definitely something to challenge us all. And we're all heading to the metaverse, whether we like it or not. So we better get used to solving these challenges, or else it's going to break down and people are going to go, it's a crappy experience, I'm not going to do it again.